Alrighty, we're rolling. Okay. I feel really short right now. I just have to sit up so straight. Okay, so today's the day after whatever my last vlog was. Oh, it's the 19th. It's the 19th, so day 6 of taking my meds, I think. I'm going to continue reading this, and today I've got my cup of water beside me, and I'm going to take more breaks and, like, I don't know, 10-minute intervals, because the video yesterday took until like 2 a.m. in the morning to finish uploading. So yeah, originally it said it was like going to take 1,000 and something minutes, and I was like, fuck. So without further ado, let's read. Continuing on from yesterday. Well, that took like a minute. Wow. Okay, so it's something to this point where it says it's best to use homemade rolls. Hard rolls can easily be obtained from a bakery, but they should be small. The larger ones are unsuited for this recipe. After filling the rolls, bake for 10 minutes and serve hot. For best results, leave the rolls out overnight, wrapped in cloth, so that the grease from the sausages soaks into the bread. While Tina finished wrapping the next day's rolls, Mama Elena came into the kitchen and informed them that she had agreed to Pedro's marriage to Rosaura. Hearing Chencha's story confirmed, Tita felt her body fill with a wintry chill. In one sharp, quick blast, she was so cold and dry her cheeks burned and turned red as the apples beside her. That overpowering chill lasted a long time, and she could find no respite, not even when Nacha told her what she had overheard as she escorted Don Pascal Matzquez and his son to the ranch's gate. Nacha followed them, walking as quietly as she could in order to hear the conversation between father and son. Don Pascual and Pedro were walking slowly, speaking in low, controlled, angry voices. "Why did you do that, Pedro? It will look ridiculous, your agreeing to marry Rosaura. What happened to the eternal love you swore to Tita? Aren't you going to keep that vow?" "Of course I'll keep it. When you're told that there's no way you can marry the woman you love, and your only hope of being near her is to marry her sister, wouldn't you do the same?" Nacho didn't manage to hear the answer. Q, the ranch dog, went running by, barking at a rabbit he mistook for a cat. "So you intend to marry without love?" "No, Papa. I am going to marry with a great love for Tita that will never die." Their voices grew less and less audible, drowned out by the crackling of dry leaves beneath their feet. How strange that Nacha, who was quite hard of hearing by that time, should have claimed to heard this conversation. Still, Tita thanked Nacha for telling her, but that did not alter the icy feelings she began to have for Pedro. It is said that the deaf can't hear, but can understand. Perhaps Nacha only heard what everyone else was afraid to say. Tita could not get to sleep that night. She could not find the words for what she was feeling. How unfortunate that black holes in space had not yet been discovered, for then she might have understood the black hole in the center of her chest. Infinite coldness flowing through it. Whenever she closed her eyes, she saw scenes from last Christmas, the first time Pedro and his family had been invited to dinner. The scenes grew more and more vivid, and the cold within her grew sharper. Despite the time that had passed since that evening, she remembered it perfectly, the sounds, the smells, the way her new dress had graced the freshly waxed floor. The look Pedro gave her, that look. She had been walking to the table carrying a tray of egg yolk candies when she first felt his hot gaze burning her skin. She turned her head, and how her eyes met Pedro's. It was then she understood how dough feels when it is plunged into boiling oil. The heat that invaded her body was so real, she was afraid she would start to bubble. Her face, her stomach, her heart, her breast like batter, and unable to endure his gaze, She lowered her eyes and hastily crossed the room to where Gertrudis was pedaling the pianola, playing a waltz called The Eyes of Youth. She set her tray on a little table in the middle of the room, picked up a glass of New liqueur that was in front of her, hardly aware of what she was doing, and sat down next to Trika Lobo, the De La Garza's neighbor. But even that distance between herself and Pedro was not enough. She felt her blood. I'm sleepy. I'm really tired. Okay. Maybe I should just take a break. I'm going to take a break.